So we are owned by a private equity firm based out of Washington, D.C. called Astra Capital. And so I came in under the original investment with DartPoints. And at that stage, I came into the operating role as the CEO. And the way we look at investments and the way we look at a complementary strategy around deployment is if markets that we've identified where there's need, where we want to invest into, if there are acquisition candidates that have assets and digital infrastructure facilities in those markets, that becomes a compelling target for acquisition for us. So that's how we identified Immedion. Immedion has data center locations in markets where we felt like deploying Liquid Edge, deploying Bridge IX, enabling this ecosystem in markets that we perceived as being underserved from a technology perspective. That's what our strategy is all about. And so we identified Immedion as a great candidate, and that's what drove us to an acquisition on bringing in Immedion as part of the DartPoints team. So that just in summary, that's how we think about acquisitions and how we target companies that we're interested in acquiring. So what was announced today is really two things, right? And it's about innovation, and it's about technology, and it's about enabling South Carolina to be internet independent and accelerate their ability and their capabilities using technology for economic development growth. And that's really what today's announcement's all about. Bridge IX, by deploying an internet exchange, is going to enable that ecosystem that will drive that competitiveness. And Liquid Edge is about looking to the future, understanding the density and the high performance compute that's required by companies as they enable more competitive use cases and applications in their work environments. That is a solution that's going to help enable that. When you bridge that together with a Bridge IX or an interconnect-based strategy, that will only amplify and accelerate the opportunity around economic development.
So we work with the fiber providers. Once the fiber providers bring the fiber to the rural areas, to the enterprise, to the businesses, once that fiber is there, we accelerate on the backside the ability to transform and build an ecosystem of rich digital content that's delivered in a cost-effective and more highly performant way to the end users, to the consumers of those rural broadband and fiber connectivity places, right? So with that, we bring content, we bring carrier neutral connectivity, and then we bring the ability to merge all of that and deliver that in a single platform for those folks to consume.
You're outside of the industry getting your head around what really is the true value of an internet exchange. And if you think about it in fairly simple layman's terms, we like to use the analogy of really building a digital airport inside the state of South Carolina, right? So today, if I'm in Charleston and I wanna fly to Greenville, right? I have to fly it over to Charlotte. I've got to fly down to Atlanta. I've got to fly up to Chicago, or I've got to fly up to Northern Virginia. From an internet perspective, right? To be able to process my request and then return it and deliver it back into the state. And what we are enabling is we're going to enable that digital airport where I'm going to be able to have a request in Charleston, or whether it's in Columbia, or whether it's in Greenville, and I'm going to be able to keep it within the state borders at a lower cost, high performing environment, and I'm going to be able to execute it, store it, and process it all within the state. And so when you think about from a technology perspective, and you start referencing some of the use cases and applications around telehealth and autonomous vehicles and artificial intelligence, and you start thinking about some of these more latency sensitive applications, having this capability and investment through an exchange in the state of South Carolina is going to be hugely critical as this state looks to advance its position from a technology perspective.